much. Thank you. Thank you.
You've just been listening there to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson speaking at NATO headquarters in Brussels. We are awaiting a news conference from US President Joe Biden in the next half hour. For now, I want to go straight to our David McKenzie, who joins us live from our London bureau. And David, the big question we've been hearing coming out of the G7 and NATO is how much more can the West do to help Ukraine? And today, the British Prime Minister saying that they're going to double their lethal aid to date.
Well, that's right. They are doubling down on their lethal aid to the country. But what they're not doing is also critical here. And you heard Prime Minister Boris Johnson there using the logistical argument, saying that to get planes and armor into Ukraine would be difficult. But frankly, it's been a refrain throughout the day. Despite the calls from NATO allies and from the European Union more broadly that they need to give lethal aid, including drones and RPGs and defensive weapons, as they call it, to the Ukraine to stop the Russian invasion, they have drawn this line in terms of armor and jets and other more sophisticated weapon systems to get to that country. And you saw President Zelensky saying earlier that they could just give 1% of their overall the money that is spent on defense throughout the NATO bloc, and that would do the job. But they are still reticent to get deeply involved in this conflict. All of the leaders saying that the last thing they want is their troops facing directly with Russian troops. Lynda?
And that is the big fear, right? An escalation, and that is something they want to prevent. So Britain saying they're going to send 6,000 missiles, $25 million pounds. But certainly ruling out the no-fly zone and not sending in NATO troops on the ground. And certainly not even outlining the consequences to those red lines that they've outlined should Vladimir Putin use chemical or biological weapons.
Well, as each leader has said, that this is a red line, the use of weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, or nuclear would be crossing, of course, a red line. But a few of them going into any kind of detail of what it would mean from a NATO perspective if that worst case scenario happens. It was interesting to hear Boris Johnson say, in his mind, this is a distraction. He said that while the talk has been about this kind of doomsday scenario, right now, as we speak, as he put it, that Russian artillery is raining down on Ukrainian cities, and civilians have been roundly killed and maimed and injured by this invasion, and that is where the focus should be right now.
All right, our David McKenzie for us in London. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Stay with us for our continuing coverage of the war in Ukraine. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.